What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is going to be your review of the Real Housewives of Miami Season 5 Reunion Part 4. I'm sorry, I mean Part 3. So let's go ahead and get into it, y'all. Let me flip to my notes. I got so many notes in here. Oh, you know what I should have done? Oh, no. It doesn't matter. All right, here we go. So we start this episode off. We are still talking about Lenny and his cheating, you know what. They asking Lisa about the fact that she was still hosting parties with Lenny. And she said, listen, technically it's still his house. I really couldn't say no. The holidays are important to him. And I think we talked about that a little bit on the last episode. Kiki said, listen, I used to go to Lenny's parties all the time. You know, I was just getting invited by different club promoters. And girl, Lenny was cheating on you all these years. Like, I've heard so many rumors. I mean, that's before I knew you. That's before we were friends. But girl, your husband was out there in them streets, okay? Lenny was for the streets. And Lisa was like, look, it's all coming out of the woodwork now. Like, everybody and their cousin is telling me stories about Lenny. She said, she said she should have paid more attention. You know, she should have been more vigilant. But look, I was a woman in love. I saw what I wanted to see. And I like hearing this coming from Lisa because I feel like Lisa was really in really serious denial. And part of it was because, like she said, he always threatened her with divorce. So I feel like this isn't the first time that he's like, I want a divorce. This probably isn't even the first time that he's had a girlfriend. But he's always come back home. He's always come back around. And I feel like Lisa just thought it would play out. And yeah, she was embarrassed on the show, but that eventually he would come to his senses. She does have a whole boyfriend now too, who looked like he got a little bit of money, so that probably helps as well. You know, ain't nothing like getting over somebody by getting under somebody new, right? She said that all the women were very, very supportive of her. Larsa even went to court and testified when the new girlfriend tried to get the restraining order to let the judge know that that's not how the story went. Lisa wasn't the aggressor, so forth and so on. And the restraining order did get dropped. She said she would love to get married again. You know, like, it is what it is. But she doesn't regret anything because she said, who's to say that, you know, it wouldn't still be the same result? Like, had I known these rumors before or whatever, who's to say it would have changed anything? So, I thought that was cool. Then we talked about Marisol and Alexia being married to, you know, these American husbands and how different that was from being married to, you know, men from their culture. And, you know, Alexia was like, hey, my mom always wanted me to marry. You know, they were calling them gringos. You know, my mama always wanted me to marry, you know, a gringo. And Marisol said her dad was like, hey, she said she used to always bring these guys home that were from Morocco and from these other places. And she said her father would be like, can you just bring home an American football player? Like, can you just bring home? And so she said that she thinks that they will all, you know, that they will all be cool or whatever. They talked about their Miami Spanish. You know, she said that, you know, people outside of Miami can definitely hear the accent. They know they're from Miami. It has a, you know, twang to it. You know, they're speaking Spanish. It's that Spanglish with, you know, with Mexican slang in it. I mean, with Florida slang in it. And so they're not Mexican. Don't nobody tell me that. I know they're Cuban. But with that Florida slang in it. So anyway, they talked about that. Not really. Listen, we could have really done without the fourth part. I mean, the best part of the fourth part was the Adriana piece of it, which was crazy. Adriana crazy as hell. I can't. Look, all these women, not all of them. I can't do Alexia. I can't do Larsa, and I cannot do Adriana. I just cannot do the three of them. They are so delusional and in their own world and their own idea of smart and right and child. Larsa lost me when she said that she's got a real job. It's not like putting people to sleep. First of all, Tiffany Moon from the Real Housewives of Dallas ate her up. Like, she ate Larsa ass up because she's an anesthesiologist. And Dr. Contessa's friend, I can't remember her name now. She was on the Real when she was on Married to Medicine LA. She's an anesthesiologist, and I'm just like, how disrespectful can you? Anyway, I already talked about her. Moving on. So then Andy asked about the husbands and the whole, you know, when they got into it at the Gringo dinner, and Alexia was like, Anthony is still an ass. You know, she called him Antonia because she said he act like a woman because he still was talking ish. She said they ran into each other at art, what's it called, the art weekend down in Miami. She said they ran into each other and he was still talking ish. And Larsa was like, he's a bitch. He's a bitch. But what Nicole explained was they saw each other and Alexia ran up to him, got in his face, and was like, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. Because, of course, I guess she found out that he said the things that he said or whatever. So, of course, he responded, and, of course, he said something. Now, I will say this. I do feel like some of the comments he made were a bit much. And I said that in my reviews. I was like, damn, like, Anthony really is giving it to, you know, he made some comments about Larsa and Alexia. Now, her defense of him talking about Larsa is because Larsa made the comments about their son being a bastard and that kind of thing. But I still feel like he was. I'm not gonna now. I wouldn't go so far as to call the man a bitch and say all of that. But I do feel like some of his comments were a bit much. But I didn't think it was all that for them to be calling him out his name and all that stuff. Like I thought that was a lot. But we ultimately though we found out Alexia started it. So again, we right back at this. Alexia has this warped sense of right, wrong, and all that good stuff. Like, you started it, man. They asked Larsa about her braids. Larsa is so stupid. Andy said, do you think that maybe there'll be an issue as far as cultural appropriation? And she was like, I don't know why, because I'm not black. I mean, I'm not white. So why shouldn't it be a problem? So you feel like just because you're not white, it's okay for you to... Okay. And then she said, well, I get my kids' hair braided. Like, I have a braider that comes in every 10 days and braids my kids' hair. Here go Andy. Yeah, but they're mixed, right? She was like, yeah. He was like, so they're black. It was the way he said it. He was just looking at her with a straight face. He was like, so they're black. Like, they can have braids. Like, you're equating your kids to you. Now, listen, at the end of the day, that's not a cross I'm willing to die on. Like, I don't care about Larsa getting braids. Listen, I don't care. But for Larsa, once again, to just be so tone deaf and not understand why people could possibly have an issue, once again, it just proves that she's the one that said she's an idiot. Kiki said she didn't care, but I don't care about Kiki, in her opinion. Not when it comes to that, I don't. She's like, I think people should be able to wear whatever they want. Okay, girl. Her and Julia made up. Julia apologized to her for overreacting about the whole she was going to sue Adriana thing. I think now that Julia sees that Adriana got some screws loose too, that she may be feeling that. And she apologized for not inviting her to her housewarming, you know, whatever. So that was cool. We get to Gertie's package. Gertie talks about how she has really changed her lifestyle. She said that the show really helped her see that she was really doing too much. She was working too hard. She said she's cut back on the amount. She said she went from doing like 15 weddings a year to 5 weddings a year, but she's doing like $3 million weddings. So I think if you do, she said quality, quantity not quality. I mean quality not quantity. But she said that she loves Russell and that she doesn't want to do anything to risk losing him. And so she said she took what he said, she heard it, and she adjusted. And Lisa was like, that is so, like, I commend that you heard what he said and you've adjusted. We found out that she was named one of the top, wedding planners, in Bride Magazine, one of the top, like, she wasn't the only one named, but, like, I think she's also named, like, one of the top 100 worldwide party planners or wedding planners. And she's going to be speaking in Qatar. She said she's going to swing by and see Lisa Milan because she's cool with Lisa Milan. So I know the Real Housewives of Dubai have already been filming their season. I don't know if they're done filming, but it'll be interesting to see if we get a cameo from her on this season. That'll be cute. Child, then we get to Adriana and Marisol. Look, I can't. My brain just can't do this with them. I think it's all ridiculous. I think Adriana is tone deaf. And y'all know how much I hate when I gotta defend people that I don't like. Cause Alexia, I just can't with her. But I understand why Alexia is mad. I understand why Alexia has issues with Adriana. Now, they did some flashbacks to Adriana's wedding, and it was all cute. And then they talked about how Adriana was really married all along, and it was a lie. don't know nothing about all of that. She told Andy that it wasn't a lie, but I feel like the way she answered the question leaves the loophole for what they said to maybe be true. But anyway, they brought up the piece about Marisol's boyfriend, and Marisol was actually crying, and Andy was like, why are you getting so emotional about it? And she was like, because that really hurt me. Like, I really thought we were friends, and that really hurt me. Adriana still don't seem to understand what she said that was wrong. She's like, I did it. I really felt like I was doing it to show my loyalty to you. And everybody was like, well, maybe if you had cut, like, you saying that Marisol's ex-boyfriend reached out to you and you refused to date him, that shows loyalty. You talking about he said he never loved you, that's hurting her. Like, there's a window there. So one is, okay, you showing me, your loyalty. The other one is, girl, you went too far. You ain't need to say what you said. Like, you took it to another level. Then of course they talk about the ankle. Now, Nicole said that her ankle really was bruised. That wasn't all that she made it out to be. I don't know, but she said the ankle was really bruised, and that the property where they were staying is a vast property. And so she was like, I can understand her wanting to get around in a wheelchair because it was a lot. Like, it was a lot of walking. But ultimately, did she overplay it? Probably. They got into Adriana and Frankie again. Adriana, Frankie, and Alexia. And Adriana again was apologizing. And then the ladies on the other side of the couch. I mean, like the Nicole, the Gertie, the Julia. Here they are trying to defend Adriana. She was in a trance. She really had a psychotic break. She really didn't mean to hurt you. She really didn't understand. And when she figured it out, when it finally hit her, she was so upset. She was so apologetic. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm not one of those people that like to throw around, like, mental health stuff and accuse people of mental health things that aren't there. So I can't say that Adriana is not dealing with some mental health issues. What I can say, and I don't know Adriana. I've only met her these last 2 seasons. I didn't watch Miami. I didn't watch the first version of the Real Housewives of Miami. I've only looked at these last 2 seasons since they brought it back. But what I will say about Adriana is, Adriana makes everything about her. She even did it at the end. At the end of the episode, Andy was like, can y'all find something nice? He didn't even say apologize. He said, Adriana, can you say something nice about Marisol and say something nice about Alexia? When Adriana went to go say something nice about Marisol, she said, I think that I respect you so much because you've been through a lot and you came out on the other side, like what I'm going through now. And I hope that I just have the ability to come out on the other side. That's how you put your foot in your mouth with that whole Frankie thing, because you were trying to compare your twisted ankle to what Frankie is dealing with. And you're talking about, I may not be able to take myself shopping and I can't do this and I can't do that. And then you want to compare that to what Frankie is going through with Alexia. Girl, that is your problem. So I can't say that it's something dealing with mental health. So I'm not gonna lighten it by saying it is or it isn't. But what I am gonna say is, if it is mental health, get some help, because what you do is it is exhausting and it is unlikable. So then she tells Andy, well, I have a letter here. Marisol, you're an abuser. And I have something, this before she said the nice stuff I'm saying. And I have a letter here from the person. So Andy goes through this whole dramatic reading of this letter. I'm being abused every day, and I don't even think she means to abuse me, but can you please, I need her friends to intervene, blah, blah, blah. Why he gets to the end of the letter and it's signed Marisol's liver? Girl, you are literally in the middle of an argument with these women. Andy and everybody else is trying to help, with everybody except for Larsa, child. It's trying to help y'all find a common space and come to a common ground and make up on some level. And you pull out this stunt. And she was like, it was just meant to be funny. And Andy was like, do you really think this was the time or place? Like, even if, you clearly went through some trouble, right? Even if you had planned this whole moment, girl, that wasn't the time or the place to do it. Like, that just, and even in that, and then she hands Marisol a printed out sheet of AA meetings in her neighborhood. So, first of all, I felt flat because nobody thought it was funny. Second of all, it was the wrong time. Like, people are really trying to help y'all find a common ground and come back together as at least friendly again. even Julia had to say, yeah, I can't. I got nothing. Like she was like, I can't defend this. I got nothing. I got nothing. Uh, they asked Alexia about her relationship with Frankie and Peter. She said that she's getting better at trying to let go with both of them. Frankie is still in the program with the Moya project. She said that he's getting vocational training. And then we just kind of said it. We just kind of ended it. Andy asked each woman what they kind of like. How did he ask them to reflect on their season? So of course Nicole talked about her dad. Gertie talked about her and Russell's relationship, and she said he never would have had that conversation with me if it weren't for the show. And Nicole said, she may not have ever really explored her relationship with her father if it weren't for the show. Alexia said, the Moya Foundation reached out to me because of the show. They saw Frankie and they saw, us kind of struggling with Frankie. And so they reached out to me because of that. Marisol say, listen, y'all get on my nerves, but I really love y'all. Like, I love y'all crazy girls. Julia said just, like, everything, like, with her dealing with what's going on with Martina and with the cancer, she said just don't take anything for granted. Don't sweat the small stuff. Love like it's your last. Now, I will say, I saw over the weekend, I think it was over the weekend, that they have announced that Martina is cancer-free. So, congratulations to her. I can't wait to see how it plays out on the show because they start filming next week. I think April the 8th or April the 7th. So next week they start filming. So I can't wait to see that journey. I'm sure that's going to be a large part of Julia's storyline this season. Lisa, her divorce, whatever. And I think that everybody. Larsa, I don't care. Yeah, that was everybody because they asked this question after Kiki was gone. So anyway, that was pretty much the reunion. Like I said, they really could have made this 2 parts. Even though I think this was a really, really good season from Miami, they didn't need a 3-part reunion. Like, the most explosive stuff, I think they covered. They saved the Adriana, Alexia, Marisol for last because it was, like, deep. But I feel like they could have added that into last episode. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. I'll talk to y'all later.